You are listening to the daily homily for Magdala in the Holy Land.
Think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have come not to abolish, but to fulfill. Amen, I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not the smallest letter or the smallest part of a letter will pass from the law, until all things have taken place. Therefore, whoever breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do so will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever obeys and teaches these commandments will be called greatest in the kingdom of heaven. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The common subject of all of the texts we have just read and prayed is the law of the Lord. And we have a somewhat alienated relationship to law because of the brokenness of our hearts and the freedoms we claim to do just what we like. And that's a big challenge for us, because then ordinances and statutes and laws become hindrances to that capricious lust for behavior, as we would desire in accordance to our whims and fancies, which can change from moment to moment. And the statutes and decrees of the Lord seem to us as a barrier. But here there's a context for this proclamation in the book of Deuteronomy. The Deuteronomy actually means the second law, the second edition of the law, the word Deuteronomy. And it means, it gives us the context that God is offering an inheritance to his people. He has brought them out of slavery, and they're about to enter the promised land. And this is a gift, and this gift has reciprocity, that we respond. And that's not the first gift God has given. The first gift he has given is life. And then pardon and mercy. And now the gift of the promised land. And the laws and statutes and precepts of the Lord, the ordinances of the Lord, all these words amount to mostly the same, are the guidelines for our flourishing. But if a little child wants to have another kilo of ice cream, a half a gallon of ice cream, then the parents say no, then there's a problem. But there's a reason why the parents say no, because they love the child. And the child doesn't know how to control their taste buds. So there we see a little lab case of the challenge. And then maybe we should put all of these laws under the light of the beautiful synthesis that Christ makes, taking two principles from the law, which means the Torah, all the teaching, it's another understanding of the law, from Genesis to Deuteronomy precisely. And there from the book of Leviticus and Deuteronomy, we have two texts which Jesus puts together, that the law is summed up into love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Saint Augustine had a wonderful principle. He gave us a wonderful synthesis intellectually, which responds to the reality of the human heart. He said, love and do what you want. That doesn't mean have erotic feelings and live them out. It means if you love God, you're not going to hurt him, hurt his feelings, you're not going to go against him. If you love your brother or sister, if you love your parents, you're going to do the right thing for them. The commandment says, honor your father and your mother. It's one of the ones that's positive, because the other ones say, do not kill, do not steal, do not lie, do not do this, do not do that. But honor your father and your mother. It's like you should love the Lord your God with all your heart. There's no limit to what you will do. And it becomes very creative, and the human being flourishes in these relationships. And these are the big relationships. And so here the commandments are safeguards with the negative expressions, do not kill. Just imagine a society where we would kill each other, where that would not be considered a problem. And that happens all too much in our world, to kill another. Physically, there are so many people killed in the streets of cities, in conflicts, in wars, even in hospitals. Maybe I should mention a case. Some very devout people asked me to pray for somebody who was dying. And this person passed away, and I have this person in my prayers this evening. And the person was deprived. They're in the final phase of very severe cancer and heavy sedation, but they were deprived of water and food. And our faith teaches we cannot deprive people of water and food, hydration. And obviously there's a big challenge in discerning the situation of the person, but we can't deprive them of water and food. And so it's, with all of the advances we have to prolong life, sometimes we apply very simple negative things that take life. So we have a very big challenge in our culture today. More and more states legislate euthanasia. So the law of the Lord, how important the law of the Lord is. Do not lie to each other, and all the fake news. And people see a video nowadays that spreads hatred to somebody, and we don't know if it's well established that that video is actually exactly so, and we send it to other people. We are spreading false information. There's a great principle, not to say things of which you're not sure. How many things do people say to boast, to make an impression, to get attention? And do not lie. It's easy to lie. And it's easy to steal. How many people are in very difficult work situations, almost slave conditions, and many of our opportunities in this world are made through exploitation. And so the law of the Lord also has very concrete determinations that we need to think about and not just glide along. And we need to make our voice heard. Sometimes we cannot stop these processes because they're so complex and so many people are involved and they're not so immediately visible to us. But we know a lot about this situation, about the taking of life from the womb to the tomb. So there's a very big challenge for us. Again, we should just come back to the core thing, to love. Every person is in the image of God, and every person commands our love. Obviously, it's much more concrete when a marriage, a couple, children, and children have many difficult occasions. One parent has asked for prayers. Their daughter is going to go to trial, to court, will probably have a significant fine, and will spend 6 months in jail. It's a very difficult situation for a parent, for a single parent. And how to be there. But the love that parent has for her daughter is going to conform her whole attitude. And she will have moments of impatience, moments of trial, moments of difficulty, but she will give her heart to her daughter. She will let her feel the love of God, because even though a mother would forget her child, I will never forget you, says God, but most mothers will never forget their daughter or their son. They will want to be with them. When we love, we become totally committed.
Thank you for joining us today. If you want to learn more about Magdala, follow us on YouTube and on Facebook.